All right, welcome to our third and final module on the Pandas DataFrame object. And to clarify, this isn't the last module where we're going to be working with DataFrames. Rather, it's the last one where we're going to be looking at the DataFrame as a whole, kind of the big picture operations, the most critical methods you need to know to work with a DataFrame. In the future, in upcoming modules, we'll still be using DataFrames, but we'll be looking into more specific operations like working with text data or working with date times. We'll even dive into financial data. So this last module is just going to fill in some of the gaps, introduce some new methods. So let's begin by creating a brand new Jupyter notebook. I'm going to click the New button on the top right here and select my Conda root environment. We have to give our notebook a name, so let's call it DataFrames 3. Let's, of course, import our pandas library as PD. Without that, nothing is possible. And I'm going to press my escape key to go into command mode and press my B button, or hold it rather, to create a few cells below for us to work with. That's good. Scroll back up. And our data set in this module is a data set of every James Bond movie that has ever been released. So that's about 25 or 26 movies over the course of the last 50 years. So it's stored in a CSV called James Bond. So let's begin by calling our readCSV method and providing that jamesbond.csv file as the string argument to that method. Let's take a look at this data frame. As I mentioned, it is pretty short. It's about 25 or 26 rows to be exact, and because it's so small, Pandas doesn't even need to truncate it in the middle. It can just output the entire thing. So it's sorted here by year, so we're starting with the earliest film, and in addition to the year, we have the film title, we have the name of the actor who played James Bond, we have the film director, and 3 columns of floating point values. We have the box office gross of the film, its budget, and the salary of the actor who played James Bond. And if I'm not mistaken, all of these numeric columns have been adjusted for inflation. So if you're interested in doing some kind of analysis of which Bond actor got paid the least for the highest box office results or something similar, this data should be good to go. Finally, as an important caveat, we do have a couple of these NAN values here in the Bond actor salary column, which designates a missing or a null value. So just keep that in mind. So now that I'm satisfied with how this data frame has imported, I can go ahead and assign it to a variable that we can work with. I'm going to use the variable name bond. So bond equals the readCSV operation. And then I'm going to call the head method with an argument of 3 just to preview the first 3 rows of this data frame. And this will be our execution code at the start of each lesson to ensure our data frame begins in the same identical shape at the start of each lesson. So as I mentioned, this module will be focused a little bit on some of the methods we may have missed. We'll be looking into things like setting and resetting the index of a data frame, extracting a specific row from a data frame based on its index location, resetting the values in a data frame, setting the values based on a specific condition, and other things that we may have missed. So I look forward to more fun with the most popular Pandas object, and I will see you in the next lesson.